Abraham is called a Hebrew. The people who leave Egypt are called Israelites, and in the New Testament, they are called Jews. Many people assume they all mean the same thing. But if you look closely, the Bible uses each of these terms in very specific moments, and each one carries a different meaning tied to a different stage in history. Understanding this is not just about definitions. It helps us read the Bible with greater clarity. By the end of this video, you'll understand why all Jews in the Bible are Israelites, but not all Israelites are Jews. Why Abraham and Isaac are not Israelites nor Jews. Moses and Joshua are Israelites but not Jews. King David, Joseph, and Jesus are both Israelite and Jew. Let's dive in. Part 1. Hebrew, the beginning. The first time this word appears is in the book of Genesis, where Abraham is described as Abram the Hebrew. At this point in history, there is no nation of Israel, no tribes, and no kingdom. There is only a man, his family, and a promise from God. The word Hebrew is often connected to a root that means to cross over. This fits Abraham's story closely. He leaves his homeland, crosses into a new land, and begins a completely new life in response to God's call. Because of this, the name Hebrew can be understood as describing someone who has come from the other side, someone who has crossed over both physically and spiritually. In the early parts of the Bible, this term is often used by outsiders. For example, when Joseph is in Egypt, he is identified as a Hebrew. When Moses is born, he is described as a Hebrew child. In these situations, the word does not describe a nation, but rather a people group with a shared ancestry. At this stage, Hebrew is best understood as an ancestral identity. It refers to the descendants of Abraham and highlights their origins. It tells you where they come from, but not yet what they have become. Interesting fact. Number 1. Ancient Hebrew language began as a Canaanite dialect before becoming the distinct language found in the Old Testament. Part 2. Israelite, the nation formed. As the story continues, that small family begins to grow, and a major turning point takes place through Abraham's grandson, Jacob. One night, Jacob wrestles with God in a moment that changes his life. After this encounter, his name is changed to Israel. This name becomes the foundation of a new identity, because Jacob's descendants will now be known as the children of Israel. Jacob has 12 sons, and these sons become the heads of the 12 tribes. From this point forward, the people are no longer just a family tied to Abraham. They are becoming a structured group with a shared identity, history, and purpose. An Israelite is a descendant of Jacob, who is now called Israel. As their numbers grow, they eventually form a nation. This is the identity you see during the time of the Exodus, when they leave Egypt under Moses. It continues through the wilderness, the conquest of the land of Canaan, and the establishment of the kingdom under kings like David and Solomon. The term Israelite reflects more than ancestry. It describes a people who are part of a covenant with God, living under a shared law, and forming a nation with a defined identity. So while Hebrew points to their origin, Israelite points to their development into a nation. Interesting fact. Number 2. Not all Israelites were from the same mother. Jacob's 12 sons come from 4 different women. Part 3. Jew, the surviving people. The next shift happens during one of the most difficult periods in their history. After the reign of King Solomon, the United Kingdom of Israel splits into 2 separate kingdoms. The northern kingdom continues to be called Israel and is made up of 10 tribes. The southern kingdom is called Judah and is made up mainly of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin, along with the Levites who serve in the temple. Over time, the northern kingdom falls to the Assyrian Empire. Its people are scattered, and the 10 tribes gradually disappear from history as a unified group. The southern kingdom of Judah remains for a time, but it too is eventually conquered, this time by Babylon. Jerusalem is destroyed, the temple is burned, and many of the people are taken into exile. It is during and after this period that the word Jew becomes prominent. The term comes from Judah, and originally it referred specifically to someone from that region or tribe. However, because the people of Judah are the ones who survive and preserve their identity, the term begins to expand. Over time, it becomes the main way to describe the descendants of Israel as a whole. By the time you reach the later books of the Old Testament, and especially the New Testament, Jew is the most common term used. This is why figures like Mordecai, who is from the tribe of Benjamin, are still called Jews, and it is why Jesus is referred to as the King of the Jews. At this stage, the identity is no longer tied only to tribe or territory. It represents the continuation of the people who endured exile and carried their faith forward. Interesting fact. Number 3, Jew is where we get the word Judaism. The religion itself takes its name from this later identity. Part 4. Seeing the full picture. When you step back and look at the full timeline, the relationship between these three terms becomes clear. They are not separate groups, but the same people seen at different points in their history. In the beginning, they are called Hebrews, which emphasizes their origin and ancestry through Abraham. As they grow into a nation descended from Jacob, they are called Israelites, reflecting their identity as a covenant people. After the division of the kingdom and the experience of exile, they come to be known as Jews, a name that carries forward through the later biblical period and into the time of Jesus. Interesting fact number 4. Historically, Jew referred to people connected to the kingdom of Judah. After the Babylonian exile in the 6th century BC, the identity broadened. Now, Jew came to mean a person descended from the ancient Israelites, or someone who has formally converted to Judaism. Conclusion. So the next time you come across these words in the Bible, pay attention to the context. When you see Hebrew, you are looking at the early stage of the story when the people are defined by their origin. When you see Israelite, you are looking at the formation of a nation built on the descendants of Jacob. And when you see Jew, you are looking at the later identity shaped by survival, exile, and continuation. These terms are not random. They mark the movement of history. All Jews in the Bible are Israelites, but not all Israelites are Jews. Abraham and Isaac are not Israelites nor Jews. Moses and Joshua are Israelites but not Jews. King David, Joseph, and Jesus are both Israelite and Jew. Once you understand how they connect, the Bible becomes much easier to follow because you are no longer just reading names. Hope you find this helpful. Do check out my other videos. Please like and subscribe for more Bible topics explained visually. Let me know in the comment below if there are any topic you'd like me to do a deep dive on.